Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to have a short video for you to do a little overview of the All of Us Research Program, and we'll be right back with a little purpose and get us through the program.
We are one nation, one people. When called upon to give from within, we come together and find that our capacity to help others is limitless. What lies inside all of us is more than data. It's life. It's more than insight and medical research. It's vision and honor and compassion. What's flowing through America's veins is its diversity. The next great breakthrough will be found in each and every one of us, and what we find there will unlock mysteries, heal the sick, and eradicate disease. We ask for 1 million individuals to come forward and stand on this landmark in history. All of us are different, and it's those very differences that will lead to answers for generations to come.
All right, welcome everyone. We're so grateful to have you here with us on this evening as we introduce to you a wonderful opportunity, as well as give you a little bit of information about the All of Us Research Program if you don't know, or just go a little deeper and answer questions if you've already heard of it. So first, we have a link in the text chat box. If you can, please complete that pre-assessment link. Very simple, couple questions. Just want to know how familiar you are with the program. So if you can click that link and do that for us right now, we greatly appreciate it. We have some amazing presenters here with you as we launch this Minority Student Research Symposium. You're going to learn a lot about it tonight, and you'll have time to ask any questions that you need. And also there'll be a follow-up information on Friday, January the 22nd, which is this Friday, I believe. So thank you so much for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. Now, we are also streaming live on YouTube. So if you would like to go out to your social media and share this YouTube out so that other people that you know that may be interested in research in some way or another can see what's going on, and they can link with us tonight before this Friday event and able to go through the process to apply if they qualify for that. So first, you're going to hear from Dr. Monica Baskins, who is a professor of preventative medicine and associate director for community outreach and engagement at the O'Neill Comprehensive Cancer Center at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB. Dr. Baskin is a licensed psychologist whose research utilizes community engaged methods to better understand and address individual, family, and environmental factors associated with cancer prevention and control. Her research has been funded by the National Institutes of Health, which we know is NIH, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, RWJF, and other federal and local agencies. In addition, a major component of Dr. Baskin's work is advocating for interventions to eliminate health disparities and promote health equity. She also serves as the president of the Society of Behavioral Medicine. Please listen in to Dr. Baskins as she gives you a great overview about the All of Us Research Program and the Southern Network. And please, if you have questions, put them in the chat as you listen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to briefly share a little information about the All of Us Southern Network and the importance of minority participants and researchers in our ongoing work to eliminate health disparities. The objectives of the All of Us program are driven by the mission to accelerate health research and medical breakthroughs. Given that most of what we know about health and medicine is based on research that has omitted a broad diversity of our population, it is imperative that we increase the diversity of research participants and the researchers to achieve the goal of the program. To date, All of Us is unprecedented. It is not a trial or a study, but a program that seeks to engage, enroll, and retain a diverse cohort of participants for years to come. This program has already registered over 400,000 individuals across the country, and fully 270,000 or more are participating. The vast majority of those individuals are considered to be underrepresented in biomedical research, and over half of them are racially, ethnically diverse. Community and participant engagement is key to the success of this program. Bidirectional communication, transparency and accountability, and collaboration are critical to accelerating our discovery. The All of Us program is also unique in its focus on understanding the whole person. So moving beyond the individual's direct health and health-related factors, this program is also exploring factors such as the environment, so where someone lives, their zip code, their weather, exposure to air pollution and water quality. Also their social aspects, so where they grew up, their access to care, financial means, religion, and stressors that they may be under, as well as behavioral factors. So whether or not individuals are choosing to participate in physical activity or regular exercise, their diet, as well as smoking history and other routines. The Southern Network is the largest consortium of the national program, with 11 enrollment sites across 3 states. As the lead for the All of Us Southern Network, the University of Alabama at Birmingham directs the efforts of each of the participating universities and medical facilities. The Southern Network is led by 3 principal investigators, Drs. Korf, Lewis, and Fuad, as well as 2 co-principal investigators, myself and Dr. Semino. We are joined by diverse leaders and staff across Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. The goal of the Southern Network is to enroll 93,000 participants over 5 years. We're currently at around 24,000 participants. We had to pause our on-site enrollment in 2020 due to the COVID pandemic, but we hope to get back to full enrollment within the next few months. So you might ask, what does a participant get for enrolling in the All of Us program? And here is just a list of some examples of what participants will be able to capture, looking at both their own data and comparing that data to others in the same region or nationally. They may also be able to look at this comparison by various demographics, including age, race, etc. In addition to research participants, researchers in the larger community are also expected to get the opportunity to access data to jumpstart their research ideas of their own. So the bottom line here is clear. We need diverse participation in research, both research participants and researchers, to ensure that our future is both healthy and bright. So what can you do as a student or trainee? First, you can learn more about the All of Us program and consider participating. Second, you can generate research questions that you think may be answered by the data being generated by this program. And third, you can stay tuned for the upcoming presentation about the Research Hub and how you might access resources and support your own research. Thank you, and I'm happy to take a few brief questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Baskin. If there are any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I don't see any questions at this moment. Here's one question that came in. It says individuals will not be able to access any personal information, correct?
Yes, and that is absolutely correct. I mean, a good focus of this project, this program, is to ensure that data is secure and protected. So as a researcher, first there is a limited number of individuals that can access the data. And then once that becomes available, all of that data is in aggregate form. So you won't be able to identify as a researcher individual level data. However, if you are a participant, you obviously will get access to your own data. And what you'll be able to do is compare how your data lines up with an average or a general sense of where other people in your community might be or other places across the country.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Another question says, for clarification, this opportunity is held virtually.
Yes. So right now, in terms of the All of Us program, we are, for most of the sites within our Southern network, we have suspended a lot of in-person enrollment. And so what we're doing is slowly looking at the spread of the pandemic and slowly opening up opportunities. There are ways for you to go online and begin your process of enrollment that would not require you to actually physically come in. And then certainly at some point, once we, have clearance, or depending on where you live, you can certainly go in and provide some of the samples that will help with the DNA and other type of tests.
Thank you, Dr. Baskin. And also this particular opportunity for the Minority Student Research Symposium, it is going to be held virtually. All parts of it are virtual. And yes, it is in the Southern region. That's the second part to the question.
Okay.
And you can speak to the Southern region and what that, what's all in the Southern region.
Absolutely. So for our Southern network, we really focused a lot on the three states that I mentioned. So we have enrollment sites and we have programs in Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana. And we know that those are also states that have higher numbers of folks of color. So African Americans in particular, we have a significant Latino population. We also have in those three states a number of individuals who live in rural communities, may be have lower income, and all those different categories that are often not represented in some of our major medical and biomedical research. So we're really targeting our network has probably the highest proportion of individuals who are considered to be underrepresented in biomedical research. And so definitely tapping into that network. Many of your questions as they relate to disparities by race or ethnicity, by gender, by geographic region, we really think that accessing that data will be very rich to you to be able to answer some of those research questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Baskin, for providing all of that wonderful information and giving clarity and answering these questions. I don't see any questions in the chat now, so I think we have posed all of them to you. And what we're going to do next is we're going to move into Dr. Stacy Jones, who will be speaking about prioritizing the URMs in regards to this particular activity. So Dr. Stacy Jones, if you don't mind.
Good evening. Thank you guys for coming out and being a part of this amazing new adventure. I want to give you a little bit of background to explain to you how we got here. The National Paneling Council was founded on May 10th, 1930 at Howard University in Washington, D.C. NPHC, often referred to as the Divine Nine, because it's comprised of 9 member organizations, including Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. NPHC fosters cooperative actions of its members in dealing with matters of mutual concern. The All of Us initiative is an example of the collective works of NPHC. In November of 2017, several NPHC organizations identified as the Black Greek Letter Consortium, also known as BGLC, began a partnership to educate our councils, chapters, and members about the importance of precision medicine and how it's being used to improve health, treat diseases, and find cures. The Black Greek Letter Consortium team participates in a number of events across the country and now virtually to provide outreach and awareness. As of December 2019, all 9 member organizations of NPHC are partners in this important initiative. We have enjoyed mutually beneficial relationship with all of us HBOs, like one we have with the University of Alabama's Medical Center, which is how this project came to be. I work with on the campus of the university with my colleague, Dr. Joy Bradley, who works across campus, and we were talking about how we could come up with something that would engage students in research and what that could look like for all of us. And here we are with this Minority Undergraduate Research Symposium. And because this effort was so amazing and we were able to get the input of so many wonderful people, we knew that it had to be bigger than just something in Alabama. So that's when we were able to engage the Southern Network. And so I'm excited about this new adventure. I look forward to what the students here today are going to offer in this research. And we just really appreciate you for stepping up and getting this information. And we look forward to what you present in the symposium. Thank you.
Hi, so I am Dr. Joy Bradley, and again, Dr. Stacy Jones and I came up with this idea of having a minority student research symposium in a virtual setting because we wanted to give students an opportunity to work with this invaluable database that's been created with the All of Us research program. So, thanks. So I will be giving an overview of the symposium, some of the expectations, the timeline, and some important information. Although I will say that our next information on the 22nd is going to have greater detail on what to expect. Next slide. So the target audience for this minority symposium is underrepresented minority student groups. So those include African American, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, and Native Hawaiian. We are looking across all student levels. So we would like to recruit students on the undergraduate level, the graduate level, and the medical professional level. And so the medical professional consists of not only medical students, but students who may be in dentistry school, law school, any student really that has some interest in any of the health issues that are explored within the database. And again, we're targeting the Southern Network. This is a pilot program to kind of get an idea about what resources need to be put into this endeavor and how we might best serve the students. And so we want to keep it small for now, but we look forward to expanding it and making this event perhaps an annual event. Next slide. So some of the goals for the symposium, we want students to be able to develop a hypothesis, objective, or statement of a problem. We want to make sure that they're incorporating some sort of research methodology within their project. We want them to interpret the results of their findings and develop a conclusion, a discussion, or predicting what kind of future work may result in their project. Some of the things that we're going to be judging your poster presentation on, we're looking at the poster content itself as it relates back to those previous bullet points. We also are going to be looking at research complexity and making sure that it's appropriate to your discipline and your student level. We'll be judging on the poster appearance and clarity of your work and the way that the poster is organized. Overall, some overarching goals for the symposium is to evoke a greater participation of underrepresented minorities in biomedical research and increasing self-efficacy or student confidence level in pursuing research activities and influencing the number of underrepresented minorities that enter postgraduate or medical education. Next slide. So here are some requirements for participation, so you know what you're getting into when you register for this event. You're required to attend or review the 2 informational sessions. You're also required to work with a mentor to develop your research project and poster presentation. We will have a cadence meeting in mid-April where you will meet with all students, and we will talk about some professional development skills and research skills that may enhance not only your poster presentation, but hopefully it can add value to some of the coursework that you will have along the way. We also want to make sure that you understand there are certain documentation that goes along with this opportunity. There's a registration form that must be completed, and we'll talk about that timeline in the next slide. There's also a mid-evaluation that's going to go inside with that cadence meeting. Again, you have to produce a research poster, and you have to be ready to participate in an exit survey and/or interview. In attending, the culminating event is the Minority Student Research Symposium. And so you are signing on to not only attend the symposium, but you're also going to have to be prepared to present your poster to a virtual community. Next slide. So this is our timeline. So you'll see and notice in the beginning, we have the informational. So today's informational and the follow-up informational on the 22nd. Registration forms will be due by February the 12th. Our cadence meeting is scheduled for mid-April, and then your posters will be due on May 8th, and the Minority Research Symposium will take place on the 22nd. Next, we will have Dr. Adrian Roman, who will talk more in depth about the All of Us Research Hub, and we'll watch this short intro video.
And as the video is being queued up, please put any questions you may have into the chat from what Dr. Joy Bradley just shared. Please put any questions into the chat, and we'll come back to questions. We'll have a video, and then you'll be hearing from Dr. Adrian Roman.
So much of what we've done in medicine over the years has not really taken into account individual differences. We're really building a fundamental base of knowledge about how humans stay healthy or get sick and what to do about it. I think the practice of medicine will be altered in profound ways.
Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, people who are healthy, people who are sick. We want to work with you and make our lives better.
The whole idea of precision medicine is to be able to use individual differences to tailor prevention care that they receive.
We're building a set of capabilities with 1 million or more volunteers to figure out how do we enable targeted, customized care for an individual based on as much data as we can get about them.
I'm very excited about having 1 million people in a cohort. It gives us the ability to look at not just common diseases, but rare diseases. When you have 1 million people, even a rare disease that may affect 100 people.
This is something that we are invested in, and we want everybody who has a perspective to be able to share that perspective.
The more diverse representation we have, the better outcomes we can give back to the public.
Being able to bring communities of color, not only to contribute to science, but to contribute to our ability to understand the nuances within those populations.
It is important for minorities to be a part of this, or we will again be left with medications that are created for really other populations.
It's definitely important to have participant engagement and individuals being
building partners from the ground up. With all of the information that we're going to garner from this study, it is going to help with prevention. Prevention is really what the key right now to longevity.
It's about health, it's about disease, it's about behavior, it's about environment. Why not? Why not participate? Why not be part of it?
Okay, would you like me to share my screen for slides? Just let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, so thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you a little bit about our data browser tool as part of the All of Us Research Hub. And as mentioned before, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat, and we'll have a Q&A immediately following. So next slide. So the All of Us Research Hub is a secure, publicly accessible Google Cloud-based platform where researchers can learn more about the participant data available. And if you'll click the screen, there we go. Can learn more about participant data available in the registered researchers in the researcher workbench, as well as the privacy and security protocols implemented for the protection of participant privacy and past and present research conducted within the workbench, as well as participant enrollment statistics. Prospective researchers also have an opportunity within the Research Hub to explore some of the data available within the All of Us dataset using the data browser tool. If you'll hit the screen again, thank you, which displays de-identified aggregated counts of participant data. And then additionally, this is where prospective users can apply for access to a researcher workbench, where they can utilize unique data analysis tools created specifically for use in the All of Us dataset to begin their research. And this presentation moving forward is going to focus on the data browser tool within the Research Hub. Oh, and I think it's in presenter mode is what some people in the chat are saying. I don't know if you can switch out of that. Yeah, some of the images are a little small.
Is that better?
Oh, perfect. Okay, and if you won't mind going to the next slide. And then, perfect. So the data browser is a publicly accessible and interactive tool where you can explore the survey questions and answers, physical measurements and wearables data such as Fitbit data, and electronic health record data. The data browser tool also provides views into this public tiered data set, so you can see the breadth of the data collected, and that's available for access. It's also used to encourage interested users to sign up for the workbench so they can begin to conduct these in-depth research projects using our registered tier data set. And if you're interested in checking out the data browser tool, the website's there on the right. Okay, next slide, please. So this schematic graph shows how we collect and curate the data for the All of Us data set. So if you'll click the screen there, perfect. Our research participants provide data through a collection of participant surveys, electronic health record data, and physical measurements that are taken by the participant's healthcare provider at the time of enrollment. They also have the option to link their wearable devices such as Fitbit and provide biospecimen samples. If you'll click that again. And then these data are stored in the raw data repository at the Data and Research Center, where they go through our data harmonization process and are organized into tables according to OMOP, which is the Observational Medical Outcomes Partnership Common Data Model. So the reason we do this is it allows for a systemic analysis of disparate observational databases. So what that means is we'll take data from a number of different databases that may use different coding terminology or coding methodologies and terms, and we apply, we take these data and transform them so that they have a common format, so that all the data you're looking at is represented with the same terminology, vocabularies, and coding schemes. And then the data undergo conformance checks, the removal of identifying participant identifiers, and also get applied a privacy methodology. And then they enter our curated data repository where the data are pulled for the research hub. Okay, next slide, please. So the data browser, and this is the landing page for the data browser, it's designed to allow for flexible searches. So if you know what you're interested in researching, you can enter the term or terms in the search bar shown at the top. Okay, next slide, please. And you can also browse available data by data types. We have data organized by EHR domains, survey questions and physical measurements and wearables data. And for researchers new to the data browser, we also offer resources to help you get started that you can use this, so you can use the tool successfully. Okay, and then next slide. Yeah, sorry, there's a few animations there. And then perfect. As you're looking through the data, there are some important considerations to keep in mind. And these are also described on the data browser landing page that's shown on the slide on the right panel. So in order to protect participant privacy, the data browser only supports aggregate counts of participant data. So this includes rounding all of the counts to the nearest 20. So for example, you'll see 12,740 participants have at least one mention of hypertensive disorder in their medical records. If that were to be if the real number were 12,736, it would be rounded up. And that's why you would see everything always included in counts of 20s. We will display counts of 0, however, but counts less than 20 will be displayed as less than or equal to 20. Okay, next slide, please. So here's an example of a condition that's been reported where there's less than 20 participants. And if you'll click the screen there, if you see on the graph here, the bar has been rounded up to a count of 20. And you'll see under the participant counts at the bottom on that row where the condition is, it'll be displayed as less than or equal to 20. And when searching for variables of interest, in addition to participant count, so the number of people with that particular condition, in the data ranges, you'll be provided summary demographic information, which include the participant's sex assigned at birth and age. And next screen. The data browser is particularly helpful in generating hypotheses for research that you would like to conduct using the All of Us data set, because it helps you determine how much data are in the All of Us data set related to a specific topic of interest, as well as what kind of data are available. So it helps you really determine the feasibility of research within the data set. So examples, if you were wanting to look at discrepancy between data types, so we have self-reported surveys from our participants as well as their electronic medical record data. You could compare the two of those. Or if you're wanting to phenotype specific conditions to try and see what symptoms appear, or what diagnoses appear most with a certain condition you're interested in research, you can do that as well. Next slide, please. So In the upcoming slides, I'm going to quickly walk you through the data browser tool while completing just a very basic search, just so I can highlight some of the ways you can find data that find the data that you might be interested in searching for. So let's say I'm a researcher interested in studying hypertension. One of the first steps I might take is to enter it in the search bar near the top of the data browser landing page. Next slide. And if you click on the search results for condition, so if you click there, you'll see a graph showing the top 10 conditions by participant count. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, I skipped a slide there. The top 10 conditions by participant count related to a topic of interest, with a list of the top 50 conditions visible as you scroll down. And sorry, I skipped this slide. Do you mind if we go back one slide? I apologize for that. I was thinking, yeah. So here, when you enter the search, the term of interest in the search bar, it will show you what types of data you have available. So here you can see there's EHR domain data, and there's survey questions related to hypertension, which is what I entered in the search bar. Okay, sorry, and if we can go back to the next slide. And then, yep, perfect. So here I've zoomed in on a row, and it was the row of the first condition displayed in the results on the previous page. So outlined in that orange box are the clickable icons that allow you to see a breakdown of demographic data and the sources, hierarchy of like SNOMED codes associated with your term, as well as the option to copy images such as the graphs to your clipboard. And next slide. And if you click on the icon here, you'll see the participant counts for the following demographic variables: the sex assigned at birth, and then in that category next to it, age. And then if you clicked on the outline, the icon outlined in the orange box on this screen, you will see the source data. And so when electronic health record data enters our system with the terms and codes for conditions, drugs, and procedures using source vocabularies, source vocabularies are the original method of classifying conditions and diagnoses. So some HPOs will use ICD-9 codes, some will use ICD-10 codes. Those will be mapped to the new standard vocabularies. And so, however, the source vocabularies are retained after the mapping, and the data can be searched using those original terms. So this source data includes information about how your search term or variable of interest is represented within the electronic health records, including the hierarchy of terms. So here you can see the source data related to your term of interest. You can also see that hypertensive disorder, which is the term we searched for, is a broader term that includes those more specific conditions outlined there underneath. So it just really shows you a breakdown of the variable you're interested in, as well as what type of data it includes, or all the different source codes it includes. So next slide. So the term I searched for, hypertension, also had survey data available. And so here you can see the survey questions containing data related to the term you searched. So to see the breakdown of answers for the survey questions, you can click the See Answers there. So if you click the screen to highlight, perfect. This will show you all of the answer options for the survey question, the concept code for each answer, the participant counts, and how many participants responded with that answer, and as well as a percentage total of participants with that answer. And if there's a branched question to this answer that is selected, or there are additional questions posed to the participant if they pick a specific response, you can click that arrow to the right of the answer to see those. So here you'll see the additional questions that were asked to a participant if they responded with the answer hypertension to the original question. Okay, next screen. And you can also explore what data we have by searching within different data types available on the data browser landing page. So here you can see all of the different categories of data that you can search. And thank you for your attention. So I just wanted to end with saying that we're always looking for ways to improve the data browser tool. So please email support@researchallofus.org with any ways to improve the data browser tool, any feedback you have that you would like to provide as you explore the All of Us data set using it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roman. We have a couple of questions, and if y'all still have other questions while we talk about these questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. The first question we have is, how often are the data updated in the data browser?
And that's a great question. So the data browser is updated just periodically, usually at about a cadence of twice a year. The reason for that is we have to take the data in, and it goes through our curation process, which I showed you before, where it enters the raw data repository, it's harmonized and things. But it takes a while for it to get processed and made available to our participants. So that's why it's only updated a couple of times a year.
Okay, thank you so much. The next one is, can I do analysis within the data browser?
So the way we have it right now, so if you were interested in seeing maybe how many people smoke cigarettes who are likely to have cancer, unfortunately, we don't allow you to connect the variables within the data browser. And the reason we do that is to protect participant privacy and kind of prevent the stigmatization of groups. But the data browser is really wonderful to see how much data we have. It gives you a really good view into the types of data that participant counts particularly. And so it's meant really to help hypothesis generation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I don't see any other in the chat. The last one I have here is, are all of the data in the data browser available in the current researcher workbench data set?
So that's a really good question and something to definitely bring up. So no, not all of the data in the data browser is available currently in the researcher workbench. And so for example, to protect participant privacy, only select data from one of our surveys, the COPE survey data, which assessed experiences participants had during COVID pandemic. Some of that data is suppressed in our current data set in the registered tier. So for example, if it describes the positive status of someone who had COVID, we will be adding some more access tiers where you will be able to access that data at in the near future, but not currently. So please make sure to read all the disclaimers and information that we provide within the data browser and research hub to get more information about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Roman. We appreciate you breaking this down for all of us, as well as the students and those that will go on this journey to be a part of the Minority Student Research Symposium. We had a couple questions to come in. Dr. Joy, I know you talked about the overall poster contest and the overall symposium, but we didn't give a chance for questions. If we can do those questions real quick before we dig deeper into what that looks like from the mentor perspective. Dr. Joy, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Awesome. So the first question is, I'm trying to understand what is the poster and what we have to do for it.
Okay. So a poster is a general display of just an overall summary of your research project. And so it usually is blown up pretty big. So it ranges in size, usually in a face-to-face kind of environment. If you were presenting your project at like a conference or something like that, it would be something, I don't know, like a 20 by 30 sheet of paper that has to be printed out on, using a special printer, but everything is going to be digital. And so usually we produce posters using some kind of PowerPoint formatting, and your poster itself will have information. So it'll have like a background of your research topic, your research question. It will have an abstract or that general summary of everything that your project consists of. You'll have another section where you'll talk about the methods that you use to develop the project. You'll talk about, sometimes people like to share like interesting graphs or pie charts or things like that to help illustrate some of your findings or some of your results. And then you'll have a space to list some of the citations that are really contributed to your literature, your review of the literature, to help you kind of hypothesize and come up with your research questions or statement of the problem, that kind of thing. And then you'll have a discussion piece where you'll have a couple sentences to kind of bring home the purpose of your project versus the findings and how it's situated within the larger body of research that exists. So what gap are you filling in this project that you want to share with your other colleagues and other cohort members? And so we'll have an example of what the poster presentation might look like in our next informational, for sure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. The next question says, they said they're filling out the form that keeps getting the message to enter a valid email address.
So I can check on that. I'll look at it again. I'll check on it and see if we can come up with a resolution by tonight. But if not, just check back in the morning. I would say in the afternoon to give me a chance to, if I need to contact technical support to kind of see why we're having that issue.
Okay,
thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you. Is the panel only for people who live in the South?
So this research symposium is specifically targeted towards students who live and go to school in the Southern Network states, so states in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. Again, this is a pilot project, so it's going to be only available to a limited number of students. However, we don't want to turn away interested students. And so if you happen to learn about this opportunity and you're still interested, I encourage you to apply, but we are specifically recruiting and marketing towards those individual states.
Thank you so much. That clarifies a lot. So, you know, if you're interested, fill out the application knowing that, you know, the priority is that Southern Network, but hey, you never know. So the last thing here says, can you currently work on the All of Us Research Program and participate if you are currently on a graduate degree?
So without clarification on that question, I'll answer it from both perspectives. So if you are interested in becoming a participant in the All of Us Research Program, so being one of the 1 million people who are participating and giving their biosamples and survey information, then you can do that as a graduate student. And again, if you're interested in the symposium itself, we are recruiting undergraduates, graduate students, so students who are pursuing a master's or doctoral degree. And we are also recruiting medical students and other professional students, so students in law school or dentistry.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Joy, for taking that moment to answer those questions for the attendees and those interested in this particular project. So I'll turn it over to you to move us to Dr. Lemieux.
Yes. So I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Patina Parker Lemieux. She is an associate professor in the College of Pharmacy at Xavier University in Louisiana. She earned her bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees from Fisk University, Tennessee State, and Clark Atlanta University, respectively. Under her leadership as the first African-American president of the Faculty Association of Xavier University, she was successful in having concerns such as faculty salary compression inversion, and she also assisted in navigating the creation of policies to and for the tenure, clock stop, and maternity-paternity leave. Her research interests are evaluating gene expression profiles in triple-negative breast cancers in minority populations, and she has received both external and internal funding to pursue her research goals. She is the director of the Center of Excellence Scholars Program. Dr. Lemieux is also active in several professional societies to include the American Association of Cancer Research, the American Society for Cell Biology, and the American Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Dr. Lemieux is an active member of Alpha Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, where she is first vice president and program chairman. She is also a Sunday school teacher at Mount Calvary International Church and previously served as the assistant director of Sunday school and as a Sunday school teacher and with the women's ministry. Dr. Lemieux is a native of Columbia, Tennessee. She is the wife of Nelson Lemieux Jr. She enjoys reading, traveling, swimming, spending time with family, and she's a licensed scuba diver.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to be with all of you this evening, and I appreciate and I applaud my colleagues with the All of Us Research Program for the work that they're doing to initiate this inaugural program to include minority students in research, specifically with the All of Us Research Program. It is cutting edge. It is a novel concept. You won't find another research opportunity quite like this. So it is worth your consideration, and not just your consideration, but doing the work to consider applying, not considering, but actively pursuing that. And so I would challenge you to do several things. The first, as the mentee, be proactive. So if this is something that you're serious about pursuing and that you want to do, reach out to one of your faculty members at your respective university and ask the question if he or she would be willing to offer you the guidance. So as a mentee, you're really the one who is responsible for initiating that collaborative or that engagement, that type of interaction with your faculty. So reach out, be proactive. Don't just be proactive, have a plan. Have a plan, even if you're not sure about the plan, give them a scope of what it is that you're interested in, and also tell them the why, because that kind of guides them into the next aspect of what is also your responsibility, which is to be committed. To be committed to the work. This is an independent project. There won't be any hand-holding. You will have to be self-guided. So that requires motivation and initiative on your part. So, but when your faculty see that you're willing to do the work and that you're trying, they will extend themselves and they will help guide you. So that is not an impossible goal, but really the initial step is yours to take. Lastly, with respect to the mentee, I would remind you to be collaborative. So whatever it is that you're doing, it's not where it's me, it's I. It's always when you're engaged with research. We don't live in a research world now where you see the old guy with the Coke bottle glasses at the bench working by himself. Research is now a very collaborative enterprise. And so it's a great skill for you to learn now, to be committed to the work and also share where you have open communication, you establishing deadlines and weekly check-ins or whatever that is that you all agree to with respect to your research project proposal. For the mentors, I would encourage you to be intentional, remembering that January is National Mentor Month. So this is a great time for you to think about, not just think about, but recommit yourself and remember the favorite mentor that you have. Who was it that got you along your way? And commit yourself to the process. Because as my colleagues, we do own the responsibility of shepherding the next generation of scientists. So we do have that responsibility, and the time is always now for us to do the right thing, and that is to step up and to engage and work with some of our young people to help them learn the scientific method and the implementation of it. Next, to my colleagues, the potential mentors, be honest. Be honest about the time that you have. Be honest about your expectations. Be honest about what you expect. So if you expect a weekly meeting, you give your mentee a checklist. Consider having a contract. That's actually what I do with my mentees. We have a contract of agreement where they know we have a monthly lab meeting, their expectations. They must come with either data they produce or a paper that's not an option, that's non-negotiable. And so they know that they must come prepared for us to have those conversations. So my colleagues, I challenge you to be honest, but also be committed in challenging your young student, your future scientist to grow. So there are a number of resources out there. The National Mentoring Research Network is a great tool. It's a federal tool that's put out there. If you're concerned about your ability abilities to mentor, that is always, there are resources that are out there to help guide you, but it's really open-ended and it's no really one size fits all, but you just establish what your expectations are, and you all come to a mutual agreement, and typically things work well from there. So as a mentor myself, I also would encourage you to do it because it's very rewarding. I've now mentored almost 60 students over my career, and all of whom have gone on to either medical school, dental, pharmacy school, graduate school, and I even had one to go into the Peace Corps. So all of my students have done, and they continue to do, remarkable things. They've moved in, some of them are now my colleagues, and we have collaborated on projects across states even. And so I challenge you again, to my colleagues to be a willing vessel to work and invest in the next generation of scientists, and to my young people, those who are looking for a mentor, just encouraging you and charging you with giving you the tools that you would need to go forward to seek out a mentor. And it is my pleasure to be here with you this evening. And if you and I'm happy, and this team knows how to reach me if you have any questions or comments.
All right, I got motivated. I'm not a doctor, but I'll be a mentor. That was exciting. I want to just thank you all panelists for participating tonight. You gave us some great information and you encourage us. You're here to make a difference and make a change in our community. And I cannot thank you enough for that and for providing all that you provided tonight about the Minority Student Symposium. So I want to also thank a group of people who have been participating and working behind the scenes. We have a large group, a committee that's responsible for putting all this stuff together. So on your screen, you'll see the list of all of these wonderful people who have volunteered to be a part of this, to make sure that this initiative goes well. But not only that you get all that you can out of this experience as students. So we encourage you to be a part of this. And, just let us know if you have any questions. You can continue to put questions in the chat. And you may ask now, what's the next step? Let me tell you what you're going to do next. You're going to tell other people about this opportunity for them. And you're going to share within your network, like, this is amazing. I was on this webinar tonight, and I found out a way that I can actually put some of my learning to action. So we want you to reach out to your peers and to your family member, whoever you think would benefit from this opportunity, to reach out to them and be a part of that. We're going to have another more in-depth informational on this program on Friday. So it's going to be on Friday, the 22nd. I will type in the bit.ly link so you can register for that, so you'll have that information. But before we do that, we're going to be closing out. At the beginning of this, we had you fill out a short survey. And at the beginning, there's always an end. And at the end, we have yet another survey that we want you to fill out. So if you would take just a few moments, and please, because this helps us with our programming and as we move forward with the All of Us program. So please, we just put the bit.ly link in there to the survey, if you could fill that out for us. And we talked about the All of Us research program and the BGLC. And I just realized that I didn't introduce myself. I am Jennifer J.J. Jones, and I serve as the program lead for the Black Greek Letter Consortium. And for the last 4 years, we've been working hand in hand with the All of Us research program to engage and educate our people in the community on this program. So we want to just give you a glimpse of some of the activities that we've been doing. So I'm going to show a little video to give you a real live look at what we've been doing over the past year or so, before COVID and actually after COVID hit. So we're going to give you an opportunity to do that as you fill out your survey. So you can do two things at one time. again. We look for you Friday. Sorry, Johnny, you have something else to say to close us out?
No, thank you to everyone. The post link was put into the chat. Someone asked what organization you can choose, the Black Greek Letter Consortium, when it asks for the org. You'll get a follow-up email thanking you for coming tonight with all of these wonderful links and information that was shared, as well as the link to join us on Friday for that second informational that'll take you deeper. That's it, Jennifer J.J. Jones. Thanks, everyone.
Have a wonderful evening. Good night, all.